Everyone ready?
Ready.
Aye, Captain.
Aye, aye.
Where's the VOD review?
Alright, keeping my notes open.
Yeah.
Cool. Can you go?
Oh, you're lagging again.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Ah, you can? Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, what happened there?
Oh, am I back? Hello?
Yeah, you're
Yes.
back.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Oh, okay. Yes, the leg again.
Wait, it was central, then it worked. Did you put it back to west, maybe?
Okay.
It's so odd.
Yay, let's go. First need to fix Tomahawk's robot problem.
Roll out.
Roll out.
Oh, these are not my socks. Fuck. Who the fuck?
Am I back? Yes.
Yes, you are.
Guess who's back?
Rest in peace, computer. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully it'll... Guess it's internet. We're gonna need to... Okay, you guys are in, right? Yeah. Charge. Go live.
Please,
Damn, me and
You guys see that?
testing. Perfect.
I can see it.
Yes.
Okay, now it's
Alright.
working as well. It's going into the red. That's better. There we go.
Alrighty. So, we're basically gonna start off. We're gonna take a look at your team comp.
do you want this
You're gonna roll out with-
blue strip for speeding in and out?
A bit.
Room, hotel,
So, you guys are gonna go out with this comp first, I believe, except not the Winston that you can have a Zarya in base. This is a pretty good comp for this match, for this map anyway. I want to kind of go through some of the stuff that would be considered like fundamental knowledge, but no one ever tells you it. Like, you have to kind of just figure it out on your own. So I think we can go through stuff like why is Ryan Zarya picked? Like, why are Ryan Zarya picked in combination? Why are Anna Lucio really good together? Why is it not Anna Moira, for example? So we can just go through stuff like that just at the start. So it's basically Deathball, like this comp works, or I'll skip ahead to a bit where
Just go in.
you go with Zarya. So I can
Their shield restore.
do some drawings. Okay. This comp works because the whole fundamental
Oh,
Oh, fuck.
thing
yeah,
about
yeah, lagging.
Deathball.
Lagging.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
I'll type something and tell when you're lagging so you know it. Or,
Still lagging?
yeah, it's still lagging. Just keep talking so we know.
Still lagging. Can you guys
Yeah,
hear me?
yeah, it seems to be fine now.
It's on and off.
Okay, it's back again.
Okay. Still.
What if we try another Discord?
Try another Discord server or channel.
I disconnect.
Yeah, should we try completely another Discord server?
Awesome.
Let's. I'm gonna just make a private call real quick with all of us in it.
Yeah,
See how that works.
that should work better.
Yeah.
Okay, calling Tomahawk first.
My Chrome crashed as well.
Feels bad, man.
Yeah, this is awesome.
I'm just gonna go for private call. At create group DM. I don't have near boss's friends, so plus has to add him.
Reporting for duty.
For the third time.
Plusky, then we need near boss and Foku.
I will keep reporting as many
I don't
times
have near boss's friends. Can somebody add him?
Mm.
He's offline.
He was in the
Me and
Whatever
names.
In the
way.
voice chat.
I need you as friend, dude. Otherwise, I can't invite you.
Lose you from
Oh,
speeding
okay.
in and out.
Okay, I send a friend request.
Yeah.
If they have Junkrat, we don't push left side.
Okay,
We usually
I
go between-
told him I needed to invite him. There he is. Add.
I have none of them.
Wait, why is he not adding? There he is.
Alright.
There we go.
Hello? Okay.
Is this all? Yeah.
Finally.
Cool.
Let's try now.
Okay.
Tell us the tale of your people.
Alright, tale of my people. So we're gonna go through Deathball basically. Okay. Deathball as a comp is meant to be played basically.
You're lagging again.
Everyone cheer. Alright. I don't know if I can do this then, boys. Can you guys hear me?
Bummer!
Yeah, I don't know if
From
I can
time
do
to
it.
time.
This is Irish internet, dude. It's been happening since fucking December. It's really bad now, like worst it's ever been.
Do you have the same problem when you play with your team?
Not this morning, but it does happen when if I just play Overwatch. Like last night during Pugs, I had to leave because I got ping.
Okay.
Well, a quick rundown of Deathball before I lag out again is basically everyone. It's you all group up together. You move yourself to the point behind the Reinhardt shield. So the key of Deathball is to play really tight together, play together, help each other out. Whereas Dive is pretty much the opposite. It's split, and then you all collapse onto one target at once. So with this, you'll see that the way you guys play Deathball is a bit too split up.
I'm gonna speed it
It's not
up.
tight. You're tight here, which is, and this crisp positioning is good for the shot, whatever. But I want you guys to. One of the things that's really important to understand team comps and understand how you play in a team comp is you need to ask yourself, okay, what's my role in this team comp? For example, if I'm Leroy here, right? I'm playing Ryan. I'm going to be looking at my team comp and I'm going to be going, okay, first of all, I can get help from my Zarya here, my Ana here, and my Lucio can speed boost me around the place. These DPS here, like Vibes and Chris, are not really, like, they're both snipers. They're not really going to be brawling right beside him. They're not really going to be peeling for him. So Leroy knows, okay, first of all, his help is coming from Plosky, from Ana, and from Zarya. So that means he can now think about what he has and what he has to use in the middle of a fight. So when he's swinging, he knows he's going to get a Zarya bubble. When he's swinging, he knows he's going to get Ana-nated and healed from that. And he's going to get
Like
speed boost.
lag.
Get engaged. I don't think it's quick. Say again, Chris?
Yeah, I'll tell you when.
I think if you just wait a second, you will get back to normal.
Just keep
What?
talking so you guys.
Hack. A hero hat.
If you change the server to east, it normally helps.
It didn't. It didn't.
I mean, no.
I'm trying this to Central Europe.
No. Well, it's quite good. US East.
Yeah, but it's his internet because he's the only one. No, he's not even talking anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, east.
Yeah, that didn't work. Vibes changed it to US East, but that makes it worse.
I just got fully disconnected from Discord now.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah, Vibes changed to US East. Like an idiot.
Oh.
Because I didn't even hear Leroy anymore. I think everyone disconnected from it except for me and Vibes.
Jesus.
my bad.
Shall we otherwise postpone this for an hour or something, or half an hour?
What's the point?
Well, there's no guarantee it will be gone in half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and
Whatever.
me.
Yeah, just
Sure.
go in, then go.
But where did I stop for you guys?
You stopped for me when you said Leroy's gonna know he can swing with the Zarya bubble and the Endonate.
Okay. Yeah. So that's how Leroy needs to then play around that. So he's not gonna, for example, go, okay, now I'm gonna try and bring on this Rhine so that he's gonna get a bit scared and put down his shield so my hog can hook him. It's like, no, you don't have a hog. You can't play around that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if you tried to play Rhine, right, and you were playing Goats, but you didn't have a Lucio, you had a Moira. So everything else is the same. You have Zen, Moira, Brig, Zarya, Rhine, and Diva. You're like, right, gonna play Goats. and as a main tank, I'm just going to run into their main tank and swing, swing, swing. But you don't have a Lucio. Lucio in Ghost is how you're so fast. So if you decided to run in and overextend and run into the middle of their team, your Lucio's not going to be able to bail you out and you're going to die. So then you just need to go, all right, I don't have a Lucio, so I actually need to play slower. I need to play more with my team. Just need to look at your team comp and try and look, first of all, ask yourself, okay, who's going to help me if I get into trouble? And then you're going to look at the enemy team comp and say, how are they going to put me in trouble? If you're, say, Devious, right? You're looking at there, you're going to say, I'm in the back, Ryan. No, he's not going to hurt me. Mercy won't hurt me. The Ana could snipe you, but, like, no, not if I have good positioning. The Zarya is probably going to be playing with their Ryan, so she won't be. So Devious is going to be looking at these two, okay? He's going to be keeping his head low for the Widow and the Hanzo. So then he's going to look at his own team and say, okay, well, how can I avoid them? How should I play? You're going to play around his shield. He's going to keep you alive. You can play around this guy because your Lucio is your peeler. If you get low, he's going to heal you up. You can play around Nereboss because he can give you a bubble there.
Like,
Yeah, silence.
you're back again.
No, you're not. It's still silent.
Yeah, true.
Silence. I think he completely disconnected.
What if he restart his PC or the modem right after?
That won't help for overall internet problems.
Back now?
Yeah, it's back.
Yeah.
So last thing you said was Nearboss can give Devious a bubble.
Yeah, so just trying to get across the idea that you do, in your own head, you basically look at your comp and say, all right, these are where I can get help from, and this is what my role is. So say if I was Devious in that comp, his role is to stay alive and probably keep your Rhine alive, keep your Zarya alive, because they're who's going to be pushing, they're what's going to be, exerting pressure on the enemy. And pressure is basically like, if there's a Rhine up in your face, you're going to walk backwards. And then that space that then Leroy can take and walk up, and slowly you guys move forward as a team, and that's the aim of the game, right? Move forward, take the space from the enemy. That's what you're looking to do. My live session just stopped.
It didn't. We still see the free screen of you having drawn stuff.
Okay. Okay, cool. Now it's fixed. Okay.
Back.
Damn.
Okay. So now that we've talked about what Death Ball is, and talked about the idea of thinking for yourself, how should I play? How can I help my teammates best in this comp? Now we're gonna actually look at how you guys are playing.
Rip his throat out. Yes.
I'm gonna speed it jump.
Okay, good. You're scouting. That's good comms right here. When you're calling and talking about stuff. I don't know. I think in spawn you guys did have a plan of saying we're gonna basically just go for it. So when you're making a plan, like say the plan was okay, go straight to point. The idea of that plan is you have to follow the plan. So once you get to about here, right? You're gonna then start thinking, how can we get from here straight to the point? Because that's the plan. We have to get there. That's the plan. So you're gonna be listening to Plosky. He's the main guy because he's gonna say speeding, and then we're going now. We don't fuck around. We're gonna move. I just want to listen to the comms here because I know someone calls to go into the hotel now, and it gets kind of split off. And you see what I mean?
I'm gonna speed it jump. I'm speeding.
So Plosky says, "I'm going to speed a choke." Everyone heard that. You're going to move. When he says speed, move. Take advantage of that speed.
They do.
See that? See there? Nereboss pushed main while practically everyone else is in the hotel now. So if you guys were playing against the kind of, say, a Goats team, right? And the Goats team that kind of knew what they were doing, Nereboss is dead, 100%. He's completely alone, and he just uses personal bubble as well. So he has literally no peel. The only peel he gets is a Widow, and versus they're kind of tanky. Their tanks will let you just rush him now, and he'll be dead. So it's really, really important that when you guys have a plan, you all follow it. So Nereboss does make it back in here, but you're still split. In a Death Ball, your Zarya and Rhine are they're linked, best friends. Cannot be, like, the Rhine's job is basically to swing and push, move into the enemy team and force them backwards. As he walks forward and swings his hammer, this guy, the aim is for him to walk backwards and then he slowly takes space and pushes them off the point. For him to do that, Zarya needs to be able to give him bubbles, needs to be able to kind of protect him, body block him, let him do his job, right? So having these guys split up is pretty bad. These guys the enemy do make a mistake here, where they have their tanks on point and their everything else completely split. So you guys capitalize on that and do well, and do eventually push into them because you see that, right? But one thing Plosky notices is that there's no target call. So you guys have followed through, and you've basically done your plan, got here, and you're at a stage of like, okay, now what? You're just kind of waiting. So Plosky goes, okay, target Leroy.
Has the one.
And you guys do get a kill on the Hanzo, which is good. You clean this up because you can push here, because their tanks are completely in the wrong position. You guys are together, you guys are playing strong death ball right now, and these guys are completely split, and that's why they lost that point, right? Because they didn't play to their strengths. They were playing death ball, they played split, which is wrong. You guys played death ball, you played together, you win. The Ana was a really good target here, so I'd probably just call Ana for now, just like make sure she's dead, right? Just go Ana. Everyone goes in the Ana, she dies. She does die anyway. Good, and then you basically just push in, and it's clean up from here on.
Okay, we're good.
To pause you there for a quick second, I believe in this setup that I mentioned that I want to push left side to push them out from spawn so that the snipers can have angle.
Yeah,
so I'm not sure.
You did. It was like left side, and then they have snipers on the other side, so we have angle, like a better angle, like shooting in the back, and we in the front. So
yeah, but
that was the idea.
Yeah, but you're so right, Tom, on that having a plan and follow up and execute it is so good. But the thing that you said later, what's next? Yeah, brain fart at that moment probably, but good follow up.
The kind of thing you got to think of is, once we're in there, who'd we shoot at? Because that's the only thing you got to think about next. Your plan basically gets you in, and then from there you should be able to shoot at someone. You should be able to kill someone. Yeah. So that's what you should think about. And I brought up this picture here because I would say, Chris, were you shooting from like here?
I started off on the bus, then I moved over to alley.
Okay.
And from alley, I sniped the widow inside of the arch in front of that.
Okay, nice.
And then I started to shoot people down mid.
From like here?
From alley, no, top alley.
Yeah.
After the Hanzo died and I shot the widow, I had free space, so I just stood up there in the middle and started shooting people.
That's perfect.
That was the plan.
Okay, brilliant.
Question though, Thomas, if I may.
Yeah.
For instance, when we pushed in the left side, should we already have made a second plan or a follow-up plan, or should we just look for something to capitalize on, such as the Ana and Hanzo being on the left and go for them?
Yeah, you should always look and adapt, because if you have a plan, right? If you just blindly close your eyes and say, then we're going to go on their Reinhardt, right? We're not even going to look at all those squishies that are just completely free on the left. We're just going to go on their Rhine. Then what could happen is, their Rhine could get peel from the squishies that you're not doing anything about. Their Ana's just going to keep shooting their Rhine, and he's probably not going to die, and you lose that fight, even though it was super winnable. So you want to just adapt, when you see something open free like that, take that. And Leroy as the main shot caller is probably the guy who should be looking for that stuff. Yeah.
Not shot, target.
When you hear Leroy say something, when you hear Leroy say squishy's free on the left, everybody's on that now. It's not just Leroy's on it. It's not just Leroy and the Zarya. Everyone is on what Leroy says. It's not as easy as that, because it's very difficult to follow a target call all the time. All teams have difficulty with that. And yeah.
So isn't that also a shot caller's job as well, to at least see and maybe give information to your team, such as, hey, Ana's on the left, and then the target caller, Leroy, capitalize on Ana, push on her?
No, I don't think so. Shot caller basically doesn't really do that much during the actual fight.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's like the kind of roles aren't like solid. It's as if like let's clear this picture, right? When you guys were pushing in from this area, right? It's not just Leroy who should be the person talking. It's not that everyone else is silent and Leroy's the only person who's going to talk. It's that everyone can speak, but it's Leroy who has to listen to them all and then choose the one who has given them the best information alongside what he's seen, and then he says that.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
have
like
to make the judgment on small prioritizing.
yeah, you have to split-second judgment, and then everyone else must listen. So it's like number one is like everyone you know can say what they see. So like everyone, okay, everyone talks, and then the second is nobody needs to listen to each other really when everyone's just kind of saying stuff. I'd say about 3 people would say, "Oh, Squishy's on the right, Squishy's on the right," or "Squishy's over here," right? The only person who needs to listen to that is Leroy. And then, when Leroy says, Squishy's on the right, everyone listens to Leroy, and they follow him.
Yeah, but he still makes the call. Like, what, the way Plosky asked the question is, Plosky said he should have called to push the Squishies. No, you shouldn't have called. You should have said there were Squishies, but Leroy should have called it.
If you say it is
No, I meant this. They are. No, I meant this. They are separated.
Yeah, that's fine, I feel. Yeah.
Give information.
Yes, you guys give information, Leroy takes it, and then says what we do with it. That's pretty much the role of him.
Yeah, mostly take priority to healers when they split off. If they
Yeah.
have no healers, there's no fight.
Yeah, exactly. That was really bad from them. Like they completely left their healers open here, and then they just decided to, for some reason, play on the point here.
Yeah.
Like,
You guys didn't see this. I mean, Vibes maybe saw it, but when the Widow was in the right area where you behind the payload basically right now, the Mercy was constantly pocketing that Widow. But when I headshotted the Widow, the Mercy was forced to retreat, so they also didn't have any healing from the Mercy. And then Vibes picked the Mercy off when she fell down from high ground to get to our team.
right. They really kind of fell apart.
Yeah, the Mercy was with the Widow inside of that little arch over there.
Okay. What did I want to say? Oh yeah, but you know the way, Leroy, when you said healers first, it's
Yeah, if they're close, they're split.
If they're
Like
free,
two healers.
yeah.
Yeah, if they're free,
Exactly,
then
yeah.
there's a priority one.
yeah, exactly.
Otherwise,
Otherwise,
it's just main tanks mostly.
it's just their tanks or their DPS. Anyone who overextends is the target, really, because
There's
usually,
no one overextends, it's mostly main tank.
yeah, exactly, just hurt their main tank. That's the job.
It's the job, that's the only thing I can do though.
Well, when nobody's overextending, your job is to make them make mistakes, to put pressure.
Your job is to push them. Yeah, push them, and then someone will freak out.
Eventually, someone will freak out.
Try and go for an opening they think is there, and if you're good enough, you collapse on that, kill him, whatever. It's very complicated, and we can probably get into it more detailed in future stuff. I'm just gonna kind of gloss over some of the more complicated stuff and try and get the core communication down. Because once the communication is down, it's far easier to do stuff. Also, another thing with your comp here, when you had Hanzo and Widow, right? That's 2 snipers. This is a bit more complicated, but it's a bit more advanced, but it's not very difficult to execute. It's just a kind of extra layer on top that you want to try and do all the time. So when Chris goes up here, right, there up an alley as Widow, your Hanzo should probably be around here. Could be here.
You're not drawing anything.
Yeah, for me, there's like 2 crosses,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, now they're showing up.
Yeah. So what this does is it just basically creates split angles. So you have your Widow shooting from point on here. Widow can see like all this area and also us. I'll get rid of this.
Although there is a couple trees there which are fucking annoying.
Oof, big.
How did that get so big, dude?
Fucking huge, my dude.
Wait, I just see 3 lines right now. Why am I only seeing partial drawings?
Not a boosted line.
You can clear everything quickly.
Yeah, I only see like 3 lines.
Try refresh maybe.
Yeah, I'll try that. Reload.
It's more like crossfire. More crossfire. I have to look some way.
Okay, now there's a giant X on my screen. Now I just see the giant X getting removed. Okay. Nothing else.
Power it up. Get in there. Yeah. So this is basically an attempt to try and draw sight lines, right?
Yeah.
With these, if you have your Widow up here, and your Hanzo down here, it's as a defender, it's so much more frustrating than if you just had your like Hanzo over by closet, like over there, and your Widow up there. Because if you're defending, your Hanzo's putting fire from. Why is that? The brush size is small. Brush size is small. What the fuck? But your Hanzo's putting fire from that direction. Your Widow's putting.
Well,
fire
he does shoot
from
3 locks, so it's kind of correct.
Yeah, it's it's far better. It's far more difficult to deal with. Say if they had a Genji, the Genji then has to choose between your Hanzo or your Widow. He can't just go like in, say, in this direction and hit all of them. So definitely split your snipers. You really want them to have them on opposite sides because it just lets them. It creates crossfires. It creates confusion in the enemy team because they don't know which one to go for, and that buys your time. Time is just. It's if you can get time in this game, it's so good. When you become faster and when you start to rush targets, you'll see they panic because they have no time. They can't decide. Their calls immediately get confused and no one knows what to do, and then they all die. That's what speed does. So if you can create confusion and create time, you'll probably win the fight. So the rule is basically split your DPS. I don't think we did that in this push, but in the future you can try split it.
What the fuck are they doing?
Okay.
Yeah.
So just go back a bit here. After we've cleaned up the fight here, listen to the comms.
Mercy dead.
Zarya.
Okay, we go. Sorry on. Nice, dude.
So all this stuff now after this, we need to fix.
What the fuck are they doing? Yeah, we need to fix it.
Yeah, it's good to have fun, 100%. But from when you're at that stage of fight, right, when you've just capped a point, you shouldn't. You can go, ha, lol, that was cool, whatever.
Yeah.
At this stage now, you start need to thinking about their ults. You need to ask yourself, okay, what else do they have?
Love your height.
The way you can figure out that's hard. Ult tracking is very difficult, and it comes with a lot of experience and stuff. But the way you figure out what ults they have are, you think about kind of who did a lot of work during the previous fight. So if you were no one, exactly. So you can probably say we rolled them, they have nothing. Then you go, yes, I agree, perfect, move on. What else do we have? You look at yourself and say nothing. We have probably closest we have is Shatter. So our next plan of attack. You have to start planning for the next fight. When you have time, plan. Okay? So here you're going to say, we're closest to Shatter, I'd say. That means next fight, we're going to want to try and build Shatter, and then Shatter, use the Shatter to win the fight. Okay? So that should be what you say to each other.
Like when you touch the, when I boosted you.
Shadow Stone arrow?
I want more push from
This kind of gets cluttered here. I was playing my stuff.
Gonna free fire hands up top.
Claudia, as in communication wise.
Yeah, communication wise.
Zarya.
Widow on top, Widow on balcony, hotel.
Stay behind to push a bit.
So one thing here, when you hear the call that Plosky was making at about up here, you were basically telling people where to play. You were like, Anna, push up, Widow.
Anna play point. Zarya.
Anna play point. Zarya. You know, you're basically making the plan for the next fight, which is good. You're gonna want to do that a good, 10 seconds earlier. You want to do that here, when there's no enemies in sight, when you have the time to talk about it. Because up here, you guys have pushed up. You're now in contact with the enemy. When you make contact with the enemy, the only thing that should be in comms is where, like, combat calls, essentially. It's like, okay, go on there, Zarya, go on there, Zarya. You don't want to hear anything else like, okay, we're going to use grab next fight. I'd say they have Valk. I'd say that's cluttering. Now the person who's in the fight can actually hear who's low. The person can hear what cooldowns were used and stuff. So you really want to keep, once you're in a fight, like once combat has started, you got to keep the calls to combat. You got to keep them to who's low, who's overextending, who should we focus. No planning stuff, right?
Hotel.
Stay behind to push a bit.
The extension is good to actually push up, try and make some space. The point of pushes like these are essentially to build free ult charge. It's not to take a fight here, right? I do this all the time. I still do this. It's really bad. But when we take first point, right, we go, okay, push, and we push up to usually like up to just before second point, okay? When we're up there, I always stay too long. I'm there with everybody except probably the Lucio, or except probably the Anna, whatever. And Anna's on cart, pushing it along. We're up there. The aim is to start shooting at your opponent. Just hit their shield a little bit. Shoot up, just get some junk damage in. Stuff that doesn't matter. And then you pull back. When they get closer to you, because they're 6 right now, right? When they're 6, you'll only be 5 because there's one person on the cart here. Even now, at this stage right here, you're 4. Versus their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. They will push you because you're only 4. You will lose that fight. So when you're at that stage and when the fight actually starts to begin, and when you're still pushed up, you want to pull back, because this fight is only for building ult charge. It's not a real fight. As you see, if you try and take the fight, you will lose because they're coming back from being respawned. They're coming back as 6, and you're pushed up as 4, so you'll lose. Now would be a really good time to pull back right now because you've lost 1, first of all, and Leroy, you just got, or Plosky got a nice boop, pushed the Ryan back there, and Leroy got some good swings on the Ryan. It's like you got value for that. That's perfect. Everybody pull back now and play on card. You're only 5 because Chris has died.
I can remember this.
Vibes gets a good pick, but you can't push. You can't push because they're 5 and you're 4, even with the pick.
Fall back, fall back.
Then that's, you know, too deep, yeah.
Main.
Come back.
So the call was made come back by Vibes, which is fine, but try and get your shot caller to do that. Yeah.
You're down 2. Peel back.
Late near boss might get pushed and might die here.
Thank you.
No, they don't have speed boost, so I'm fine.
Zarya's full charge.
Okay, so once again, no ult tracking and no kind of planning, right?
Yes,
I got Shelter.
You really want to get rid of these kind of empty moments in your comms, because you end up planning for the
Peel
fight
back to point.
that you're fighting.
Zarya's
So it's like,
yeah.
you could use this time to fight, you know, to plan for that fight instead of planning during the fight, because that's so there's comms that doesn't work.
Yes,
I got Shelter.
Okay, good. Leroy makes that's a good call there. I got Shadow. Devious can also say I'm close to Nano, and we have Visor, we have Dragon, right? You can start planning. You can also take a look at them. You can probably start to presume what ults they have. Over time, I would have said, yeah, probably. I maybe wouldn't have put them close to Nano Boost, but they probably will have Grav and Hanzo, because their Zarya pushed our Zarya, right? Sorry, the Zarya pushed our Zarya here. The Zarya got some good damage on Leroy when he pushed in and stuff, and their Hanzo's been picking off people, so he probably is close to thing. And if you look at that, you can deduce what they want to do later on. You can go, okay, I'd say their Zarya has Grav, I'd say their Hanzo has Dragon, so what's their plan for next fight? It's Grav Dragon. That's their that's the plan. And then
Wait,
you take...
Did you say their plan?
Yeah, their plan.
Oh, okay.
This is them, right? You can start to... Once you like start to track their ults, you can understand what they're going to do next fight.
Yeah.
So you probably tracked Zarya's close, Hanzo's close, so that's pretty much their only combo in this whole thing. So you can say, right, next fight they're going to grab Hanzo. So then using logic, they want to grab Hanzo when they have the best opportunity to do so, and the best opportunity to do so is if, like, you guys were all clumped up here, right, in a big fucking group. They grab you all, and then Hanzo, and it's a team kill. Like, that's ideal. So you guys want to start?
Oh. Stop.
No, you're not lagging for me.
I'm lagging.
Chris is lagging.
I didn't hear anything for a bit.
Oh.
The last thing I heard, when you're all clumped up, you want to start...
Play split. He said.
Yeah, basically play split, because you want to say, like, put your Ryan here, right, and then have your Ana.
Wait, let me. I don't see any crosses again. I need to refresh.
Can you still hear him on Discord?
I can hear him on Discord, yeah. I just don't see him drawing.
You'd have.
Wait,
guys, you can't see my crosses. You could probably have that kind of setup, right, where you can have your, like, Ana here, probably have your Mercy, like, here or there. That could be one of your snipers. That'd probably be Widow up there. That'll be Hanzo. And this is Leroy, okay? This is so hard to grab. Like, they can literally get one of you guys in grab.
Visor crashed for me.
Oh, fuck.
I took a screenshot of the specific picture you have right now, Toma, so I can put it on later in the document.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, Visor crashed completely for me. Can I
I have a
refresh?
picture of
Okay,
positioning.
it's back now. It's back. Yeah, it's completely different from what I saw last.
Okay. But yeah, that's kind of an example of when you guys get ult tracking going, because that's one of the biggest things you're missing right now. When you guys start to ult track, you can then essentially mind read, because that's how you do shit with on Ryan Leroy. Say you're sitting there and you go, I know he has shatter, okay?
Yeah, I know. I say that sometimes. I'm not always sure. We always have.
Yeah, that's completely would change your play, right? As a Reinhardt, if you know the enemy Ryan has shatter, you're going to be so much more defensive. You're going to have your shield up, walking forward. You're going to try and bait him, you know, mess with him a bit. But when you know he doesn't have shatter, you're just going to fucking go swinging. Doesn't matter, he can't shatter me. That's the difference between how you play, how you should adapt, you know, with knowledge that you have.
Knowledge.
Knowledge. Yeah, so that's what they're probably going to do next fight. Just from looking from ult tracks. Okay?
I've got ult. Okay, behind shield.
Okay, Vibe says he has ult, but we haven't. Once again, we haven't planned what we're going to do. Okay, that if you don't plan what to do with your ults, it leads to over ulting, because people think, oh, I need to make a play here with my ult, and if everybody thinks that individually, you'll use all your ults, and then you have nothing. So you really, really, really want to start, you know, planning for what ults you're going to do. That's a good call, Leroy. One down. That's also one thing you're missing is lack of like up-down calls. By up-down calls, I mean like if one person gets picked off, you say one down. If then after one person gets picked off, you get a pick, it's 5v5, so you say equal. And then if you get a pick after that, it's 1 up. Okay. So when you have those calls coming in all the time, say if you're Leroy, right, and you're playing Ryan, and you're brawling in the middle of the fight, there's colors flashing all over your screen, you kind of have no idea what's going on. You're just really concentrating here. But one person in your ear is going 2 up, 2 up. Now you're Leroy and you know, I don't need to use my shatter because we have 2 people up. We'll probably win this fight. It's a 6v4, okay? But if you didn't have that, you're Leroy going, do we need to shatter? Yeah, I'll shatter. And then you use it. And then you've kind of used an ult you didn't need to use. You could use that for next fight. So those calls are important. Up-down calls need to be done.
Wait for grab. Okay. You can get it quick,
That's an oofer. I would say definitely wait for your grab here. Like they were very, very close with that. Okay, and look, here's their combo. Unluckily that you guys played a bit close together, so they can use their combo pretty cleanly. Oh, wow. All right, he missed the grab. Okay, that's golden opportunity for you guys right now.
Wait, I think Leroy's gone.
Huh?
Yeah, Leroy's gonna. I think I power search.
Yeah.
Power surge as in surge.
Yeah, I think we only killed ourselves because we panicked because we thought there was a dragon coming, but it didn't actually come. We walked into it.
Yeah, it's devious. I'd say with your nanos, I would say really like hold it until it's really, really necessary. I understand that for you nanoed your Rhine here as a kind of precautionary measure because you knew the dragon was going to come in, was going to eat all you guys up. So you tried to save Leroy with halving the damage coming in with the nano boost. But I'd say only use it when Leroy is critical, because it buffers up his health and everything.
He's back.
He's back.
So I'd say you could be more reserved with that.
Okay.
Well, normally the nano boost wouldn't even matter, because even if Leroy only survived because of the nano boost, the rest of his team is still dead.
Exactly, yeah.
You're down 2. You're down 3.
Lag.
Okay, push further and then disengage.
I'm literally like 20 HP.
Ryan's instead of
Hold
subway
it,
with
you're
Mercy.
lagging now. That is for me.
She's going up high ground right side.
You're down to.
Got Mercy's in the pub.
Still lagging.
Which is kind of true. You're down 1.
Yeah, you lagged for like a full minute there.
Ryan and Mercy on the corner.
The last thing I heard you say was Plusky's called 2 down or something. It was very broken up.
Okay.
Having a point.
Can you guys hear me now or no?
Yeah, now we can. But play back a bit. Play back a bit.
Yeah, it's still playing. I couldn't pause it when I was lagging.
You're choosing to commit here.
I can't see anything right now. If it's
Yeah,
still playing,
it's still playing. Yeah, we're right now losing another fight.
What happened?
Start point, don't worry.
Yeah, okay. Got a full reset almost.
just as a general rule, I think the reason that you guys are losing fights is 100% not mechanical. It's team play.
Oh, yep.
So that's stuff that can be, that's very, very good that you can fix that with, you know, essentially practice together. It's gonna come after time. I'll skip ahead.
Leroy. 2 minutes.
Nick, I'm not,
Yeah, a bit further than this, but around here is fine. Yeah, that's fine.
3 minutes. Yeah.
We can continue here.
Okay.
You're down 2.
So the down 2 call is a good call, but it's a little bit inaccurate. We're down 1 here. That's okay. That'll come with practice with the thing.
It's the first time for me, so okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
I will improve.
Perfect. I probably would have saved that shadow there, Leroy, just because it's gonna be you'll have to really clutch the shit, right? Because everyone behind you's dead because of that dragon and because of you can see the kill feed, and also the down 2 call from Plusky is a hint.
I'm with a one.
You're down 3.
What are they?
Okay, push.
I would pretty much 100% call a regroup here, because even though Vibe's got that pick and even though it's equal, it's so split, it's so completely all over the place that like you wouldn't want to fight that. Especially with the spawns being so equal, it could go either way. Like you don't want that. You want it to go your way and no one else's.
Literally like 20 HP.
Ryan's instead of subway with Mercy. She's going up high ground, I'd say.
So another thing I noticed is when we lose fights, like we could lose fights, 3 people will be dead, but no like regroup call actually comes out. So it's very, very important to actually make sure people are on the same page. So as shot caller, it would be, you know, 3 people down. Everyone knows that's lost fight, we should regroup. But I would just even say, oh, lost fight, regroup, just so that people understand we're all on the same page. Or if you're in your head, you say, okay, we're going left, and you say that once, and you assume people hear you, you go, yeah, it's fine. But you don't want to assume, you want to just say, okay guys, we're going left. And then maybe like two seconds later say, we're going left again, just to make sure people understand exactly what you want to do, where you want to go. And that makes everybody be on the same page, and you'll move as a team, you'll regroup as a team, you work as a team if the shot caller basically just says everything that he wants to do, every place he wants to go.
Yeah, Mercy's in the
Makes it as clear as possible.
Our main tank is the
So definitely, just from that, I would say, make regroup calls a thing, you know?
Hey, push payload for now.
Ryan and Mercy around the corner. Gotcha.
Sonic in the corner. Pressure in the shop.
I would, at this stage, if anyone notices that you guys aren't full, like you're missing your Reinhardt, you should say that. Even though to you it might be common knowledge, like you look around and see, oh yeah, we're only 5 here. You should just say that, we're only 5, no Ryan. Because that means Zarya won't be expecting, you know, Zarya might be expecting, oh my Ryan is going to go up and save me here if I overextend. But there's no Ryan.
Isn't she there? Like, just 1 meter left to the payload. I think I can see the outline.
Yeah.
You guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's actually there.
he's there
That's
behind the wall.
That's a good point. That is actually a good point that you mentioned, Tama.
Oh, you guys are sick. So, yeah. It's my bad.
No, but it's a good point. It is.
There is situations where you might be 4, especially after you push in from a lost fight. You might all expect that people are behind you, but they're not. So just if you notice you're only 4, say we're only 4 here. We're only 4. Play careful. Play it slow. Okay. Oh yeah, I remember this charge, Leroy. I watched it.
Oh, what? Have you watched this multiple times? Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck my life.
This is a good play, by the way. When something is slept, no one wants to touch it except you're charging Ryan. That's a good play. Except for maybe if it's say it's a slept Ana, right, and you have a Widow that might be right beside the Ana, then the Widow will just one-shot that thing in the head, easy peasy. But for your charges, Leroy, I would say you concentrate more on landing the charge than where you're going to end up, right? So if you watch here, you get the charge, but then you end up in here, like miles away from your team. So for that scenario, I would say it would be very good if you think about not landing the charge on a sleeping thing, but where you're going to end up. So for you, pause please. You should have walked probably just this way, just walk a little bit, and then you can charge into this wall, and you're completely safe. This little bit of wall here will protect you from everything there, and you're still in line of your teammates. Yeah.
You do risk getting slapped yourself though from the end on the right.
was just about to say it. Is this a situation where the synergy between the off tank is to have a bubble, also the main task asks for bubble, or as in the shot per se, Anna has no sleep, and that makes a call for. Okay.
100%. That's where the little things come in, right? That's where you're like, if Leroy has heard Anna has no sleep, he's not scared now to charge in here because he won't get slept. Or if Nerabos says I've no bubble, Leroy now is scared to charge in because he doesn't know if Anna has sleep or not. He doesn't know what could happen to him, you know. And then also synergy comes into play there as well. Like, say for example, me and Krill have played together a long time, so Krill knows I'm gonna walk forward and charge this. I don't even think about it. Krill does think about it, so Krill will go, he wants a bubble now, and then he'll shoot the bubble. But for now, I'd say you guys probably will want to, you know, Leroy, I'd say sleeping targets are asleep for a good what, like
7 seconds.
Yeah, 7 seconds. So you have 7 seconds to ask your Zarya, do you have bubble? And Zarya will say, yes, I do have bubble, you can go, you can charge him. Or, no, I don't have bubble. A bubble in 3 is usually like bubble in 4, you know. That's probably the best way to do that. And you can confirm the kill on their Ryan there, easily and safely.
Widow's on the right, left.
Follow up on Ryan, follow up on Ryan, follow up on Ryan.
Plusky does try and help you, which is good. But it's going to be difficult for people to follow up on him. He does get back, which is fine too. But it was very risky judge.
Grabbing tank.
Good grab. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thought about that one.
Yeah. This is very typical. When a Ryan gets grabbed, they're going to shatter. If they have it, they will use it. Unless you know, when you get up to the further ranks, they probably won't, or they'll try and mind game you with it. But it's very, very common at all ranks. A Ryan is going to shatter you when he's in grab because it's such a huge combo. Like chicks, there's going to be no follow up on that grab because of that shatter. So I would say, Leroy, for you, when you land a grab like that and the Ryan is in it and you probably know he has shatter, just don't even swing. Hold your shield and trust that your teammates will follow into it, because that's pretty much how you clean up on a grab without being shattered. At the best case scenario, you're holding your shield, the Ryan still goes for the shatter, he shatters straight into your shield, and then you can just swing as much as you want. Like, he's not going to do anything. So shield up all the time when you get a grab. It's so counterintuitive. Like, you want to go ham on that grab, but you need to hold your shield because he'll roll you with the shatter.
I'm just gonna pause you, Tom, for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And tell everyone that I'm typing down general things that Tom is telling us. Specific things, just like now, which is related to the Ryan play. I would like you, Leroy, and etc. for everyone else to type down specific tip for your hero.
Honestly, Plusky, one of the greatest tips I ever got from for lectures is write stuff down after. Because that way you revision it in your head as well, and you're not letting yourself get distracted because you're writing stuff down, and you're actually listening to the lecture.
Yeah, but you can forget notes.
Yeah, but that's why you do it immediately after the lecture. You just immediately after it's being told.
That is something we can discuss later, because I've heard different stuff as well. But for now, try to take in your specific.
Yeah, I write stuff. I write down stuff afterwards, because if I write stuff down now, I won't even hear what he's saying.
Yeah, it's personal preference, I think. So it's up to whatever you guys like to do. If you want to write down, however.
But I'm recording this.
Okay, cool.
Fight the diamond point. Fight the diamond point.
So unfortunate about that. Okay. So here's another instance where you'll want to shot call. You want to think. After every fight, you ask yourself, what did they use? What did they use? They used Valk, they used Shatter, pretty much nothing else, right?
They just...
So you can count those two out of your ult tracking. You can say, you can eventually figure out, you know, just basically the idea is get the ult tracking up and running. That's the best thing you could do right now, is get practicing ult tracking them and practicing planning what ulti you're going to use. Because once again, Zarya and Hanzo are out of sync because we didn't plan to use Grab Dragon, right?
Yep.
Another combo you guys have, by the way, is Nano Shatter. Like, you can Shatter and then Nano your Ryan, push him in. But that's kind of... I would probably... Shatter on its own is a team kill if you get it right. And Nano on its own can be a very, very good method to, like, push their Ryan back, scare him off, right? If I had a Nano Ryan in my face, I'm walking backwards. There's nothing I can do against that. I'm going backwards. So that's really good method of, you know, pushing forward, pushing them back. Is nanoing your Ryan, walking into them.
Oh, yeah,
Let's try to push. Let's try to push.
I still shattered.
I mean, I'm having fun at the moment, so I'm all fine and well.
What did he use? Shatter?
There, that Bosky asked the question, which is good, but it's kind of a bit too late. Like you guys are already almost coming around the corner, so it's like you're planning for the fight that you're gonna take a bit too late, you know.
Nothing else. There might be
Shatter
close to that.
in a half ground.
I'm gonna flank
Yes,
around
I see what
on
you
the
mean.
left.
I was gonna shatter again.
Hanzo on the left, Hanzo, without Hanzo.
So it's good. You guys did do a good transition from like planning calls into combat calls, which is pretty good. Oh, I actually want to talk something about Nerebos's valuables here, I think.
Shatter again.
Hanzo on the left, Hanzo, without Hanzo.
Okay, that's a fine personal.
The right, get the right, push it to the
I
right.
can't remember if you used your projected barrier already or not.
I used it on the
I'm gonna
Hanzo
flank
now left
around
side.
on the left.
On the map.
Ah, okay.
Shatter again.
Hanzo
I
on
have
the
a
left,
question
Hanzo,
for you, Thomas.
Yeah.
A few seconds from now, Chris will get a pick on the Mercy. Do you think that the shot caller should call it out that Mercy's dead, or Chris as he picked her off?
I'll be faster.
Yeah, Chris. The person who kills it should call that. What the shot caller should call after that is push.
Or 1-up. Push.
Or 1-up and push. Push would probably be the, because that 1-up is a bit of a, like in between it's a secondary combat call, right? The primary combat call is push, push, push. It directly affects how you're gonna play your hero. One thing plus you that should help you is you kind of want to. This will get easier over the time you do this, like, you know, with more practice. But if you're looking at their comp up here, okay, and I'll ask you right now, what happens if there's no Mercy in this comp? What happens now? Plusy?
I'm thinking.
No
Okay.
res.
Exactly. No res.
Less healing.
Less healing, and yeah, essentially no res, less healing, because that's pretty much what Mercy does. These guys are relying on their heals, right, from their Mercy. Otherwise, she wouldn't be in the comp. They're relying on direct Mercy heals, so probably their Ryan is going to suffer the most from that because their Mercy seemed, or maybe their Mercy was damage reducing. These
Mercy was basically right-clicking only Widow or Hanzo the entire game.
Yeah, that means that without their Mercy, if she was gone, their DPS goes down the drain. Like their damage right now is so low against your kind of tanky composition that, like, what are they gonna do? You can now push. So, because with some picks you don't want to immediately push in because that can be bad. Say for example, if their Rhine got picked here, right? That's huge. That's an instant push right there because their Rhine basically means that all of these are just standing there holding their dicks essentially, and you really want to push that. So the kind of thing I want you to think about is, how does a pick affect their comp? If their Hanzo was gone, how do they play differently? How should they play differently? Like, what can't they do anymore? They probably... Hanzo is good at mid-range and close range, not long range, which means that if their Hanzo was gone, your Rhine barrier is going to be stronger because he won't spam it down. You can probably push in further because he won't be spamming at you. Your Zarya is going to get a bit less charge. So Nerebos is going to probably save his bubbles a bit more. It's just kind of tiny little plays. That's pretty advanced, like when you get up there. But do think about like how, you know, what's different if their Rhine dies. Big characters like Rhine, Anna, and probably Hanzo. Those are probably the things you really want to push here. If their Widow died, it's not that big of a deal. You don't want to instantly push. If they're like Hanzo died as well, it's not super big. They still can put up a fight. So you just want to see if their Rhine died, they can't put up a fight. They have to retreat, and you want to push them then. So that's kind of how you decide whether or not you push, whether or not you just kind of walk forward a little bit slowly.
The Rhine, get the Rhine, push it to the right, push it to the right.
Pushing right.
Yeah, that's good. Pushing here is good just because you want to keep putting pressure on them. You don't want to kind of, you know, stand around and wait. You do want to push. Although this is
Yeah.
yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Death ball, keep together. That's what you should think in your head.
Pushing right.
The Hanzo can flank on his own essentially, but one thing I kind of noticed is that we'll see it in the next map. We want to do the next map is Chris likes to flank and Vibes like to. Oh, that's not either of them. Chris likes to flank and Vibes likes to flank. So if they both go flanking, you kind of leave your tanks and supports with no DPS. The reason Leroy can put down his shield and start swinging is because he's getting healing and because there's damage like coming from behind him to help him with his job. If there's no damage coming, Leroy can't put down his shield and he just has to kind of stand there and take it from the Rhine. So you guys want to have at least one DPS. I probably let Chris flank because the Widow is interesting flank. She has a lot more mobility than Hanzo, so flanking is better for her. And Hanzo would like to stay with the tanks and stay with the team and just kind of provide like damage that's coming out from the team's end instead of just off on a weird flank.
But Foku just responded to me.
Unlucky.
Oh, why? Okay, let me add Foku to the call.
Roughly about your sound barrier here. I'd say it's alright, but I think you sound barriered for the dragon, right?
Yeah, he did. He was just
yeah.
to do that as well.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
What the save be?
Yeah, you did have 2 picks, so I would probably not even have done it. Like even with him dead, you're still 1 up, right? Because it would be like, with this pick, you're 6v5. With this, you're 6v4. With this, you're 5v4. So you're still 1 up. So I probably wouldn't sound barrier with that. There, look at this guy. But no one says anything about him. The Ana is literally overextended there.
Answer one.
And the Rhine is
Answer one.
in the middle, but there's still no calls about him. There's one.
Answer one.
Ana bot. Up top.
Yeah. Another thing that is very difficult to do, but you just kind of have to practice it, and it's very, very core. It's very crucial. Is when you're making calls, like when you say Ana, you want to give their location. So you're saying Ana cart, or Ana ahead, Ana main would be here, right? Ana behind would be like here or something. Give the general area. Give a location instead of just going Ana.
There, boss. Is the
Cool.
Hanzo still alive?
Yeah, it's out of left side.
Okay. That at this stage, you want to be pushing right now. When you hear that hands are still alive, you want to push, and plus he probably speed boost here instead of healing.
She's right side. Left side. To the Widow.
I have wall hack.
Like you could still push. Keep going. He's completely alone up there, right? You want to keep going and you want to get him. You're like a whole 5 versus him. That's a guaranteed kill.
Get Hanzo.
Right, Hanzo's around the corner.
Okay. And then when he gets pulled and when he pulls back, then you pull back. Okay, now would be a perfect time to say, for example, to Neroboss, we're only 3 here. You have no Rhine. Play chill. Even he might even know that. You know, he might be on his mind, and he can say, oh yeah, I know. But just tell him. Just say, no main tank here. Not right now.
I'm just around the corner.
Okay. Even still, just say it though, just because you're not up here, you know. And I think you're missing one person.
Yeah, I died.
Okay.
Because I have nothing to counter. Nothing to counterplay because I have double main heal.
That thing about basically saying, you know, oh no main tank here, no main tank here. Okay. You can probably watch VOD if you'd like, Devious.
Yeah, I'm recording this anyway, so I can just hear the commentary. But you
cool.
can go on without me.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. I'll just mute myself.
But that thing about, you know, the way I was saying, you know, just say no main tank, or just say stuff that you think is common knowledge. It basically, when you do that, it eliminates. I'm sure we've all been in a situation where someone dies and they say, "Oh, I thought you were there." It's like, okay, that happens because someone thinks something and someone thinks something else, and both think what they're thinking is common knowledge when it's not. You need to make sure everyone's on the same page constantly. You need to be like a hive mind, connected as one. Even the small things matter. It's good push. You're walking forward, and also you should call and notice when their Zarya uses her projected bubble. See that? When their Rhine, or when she uses her projected on their Rhine is essentially very pushable. You can now walk forward and start to pressure him, and the only help he can get is from his healers. The Zarya won't be able to get energy. The Zarya won't be able to protect him in any way. You can start to bully him once he loses his shield. In the same way, Neroboss, try and save your bubbles for when Leroy is like being almost overwhelmed or almost pushed by their
Yes,
tanks. I think you do it very well. Yeah, that was good, but Leroy disengaged. Fine. And then they grab. When you're in a situation like this, when you have both tanks.
Then a healer.
I have no beats, I have no beats.
Oh. Okay, it's still winnable.
I abstain from using nano.
Okay, now at the stage, someone or Plosky as shot caller needs to say 3 down, regroup.
I still have it.
Fight and diamond point if possible.
That's good, yeah, fight and down point, that works.
I want to go Genji.
Good call. You can push the Widow on that.
Also,
So
there,
you did hear
for
my
a second.
call,
To everyone here. When I say fight and die in point, that often means to me that we are down numbers, but I have to start to adapt the a number system that we're supposed to get used to. But of course, yeah, continue.
Dude, you should listen to Bo.
Yeah.
Bo.
Yeah.
You should listen to him. He's
Bo's
fucking,
right.
he's insane. He's actually insane.
His
Dahawktomahawk and
comms are brilliant, yeah.
Blade.
I'll send you a stream, Bo, if you want to watch him sometime.
I already have it.
Oh, okay. Cool. His calls are really good. He's like the reason why I can call is because he provides that key bit of information. Like,
Okay, to stop you, could I like watch one of your scrims so I can just listen to
of
him?
course. Yeah, 100%. You guys can probably I can send a VOD into your Discord, and if you want to watch and listen to how we come,
Yes,
as an
please.
example, right?
Yes, please. That will help me a lot,
Perfect.
and the rest of us.
Okay. So, I wanted to talk about Vibe's
I want to
decision.
go Genji.
He's gonna go Genji.
Good
Okay.
call. You can push.
When you decide to make a swap, you want to think about, how does me playing Genji affect my team, and how does that affect their team, right? Definitely, I could see the pick for Genji because they have 2 snipers here, and also their Ryan and Zarya probably won't be able to peel for their snipers because the sniper's going to be on high ground, while these guys are going to be on low ground. It's like not, and their Ana will
Yeah.
probably be on low ground too.
It's free blade after
Yeah.
all because they
exactly.
have no counter.
No defensible, yeah,
I said that.
and
Well,
This Mercy.
the way I kind of looked at it, I looked at it as well. They haven't got nothing. They haven't got a McCree where they can stun me. They've got an Ana whip that can sleep. But with my team, I've also got a Nano Blade. I've also got Bubble. I've also got Grav.
yeah, true. Yeah, and it's a comfort pick as well, right? Are you comfortable on Genji or?
I am, but that day I wasn't warmed up as Genji.
Okay.
I need to kind of have an hour of warming up as him. Other than with Hanzo, is a comfort pick,
Yeah. Okay.
as you would see on Oasis.
Yeah. What is it? Oh yeah. So the Genji's pick is probably good because the only thing that is going to help their snipers is this Mercy here. That's the only thing. Now on this side over here, when you're looking at your own team comp, the same can be said for you on Genji. The only heal you're going to get is perhaps from the Ana if you're in sight line, but if you're playing on high ground, she won't be able to see you. This Lucio won't be able to help you. Ryan can't peel for you. Widow is not very good at peeling for anyone, and maybe you'll get a bubble, but that's about it. So I would probably go for it. Yeah, I'd say it's a good enough swap. The benefits outweigh the disadvantages, and you can basically look at how you can reduce the disadvantages by changing how you play. For example, here you're not going to get a lot of help on Genji. Like, you don't have a Tracer to go in with you. You don't have a Winston to dive in with you. So you're going to probably play a bit more, passively. You're not going to go for a dash into their team and just go fucking insane, alright? You know how to play. You can look at your team comp and say, okay, I'm going to play a bit more passively here. And then I'm going to focus one of these snipers when they're alone. That's perfect. That's how you should play that.
Push the Widow on that.
Yeah. Oh, Chris, you better Genji.
No, you do.
No,
Okay.
I need to keep the widow
So
door.
ult tracking again here.
I'm just on the right side.
Right side Mega? Or what?
Yeah, the left of Mega.
Okay.
One down.
Speeding in, speeding
Good.
in. Sorry.
Oh. Okay, nice. Big pick. That's perfect vibes. Very good. That's exactly how you play the Genji in that scenario. Excellent play vibes. And then
Widow, you want Nano.
Now you'll want to
Nano
push.
after you,
And
Shadow,
then I
Leroy.
started feeding him.
Get Anna, left, top, left.
There's a comp here.
Nano after
The
you,
comp,
Shadow,
this,
Leroy.
that comp there, Devious, where you say I'll nanner after you shatter, comes from not planning for the next fight. Because as you see, Leroy doesn't even have shatter. And if you want to, you can definitely say, you could take a look at your ults and say, okay, we have nano and we have a grab. So I can nano my Rhine and he can swing into grab, and that's probably a team kill. So that's a much better combo than instead of just probably nanoing your Rhine and like, you know, doing nothing really with it, except
Get
making
Anna,
some space.
Left, top.
Oh, the resident.
Okay, so now from this, Hanzo killed your Genji. The Genji had previously killed their Widow, right? So let's say their Widow is still dead. Let's say this is not here. Widow's dead, but your Genji's dead, so it's a 5v5, so you're even. But now that the res comes through, their Widow's back, so it's a 5v6, so you're one down.
Yeah. Anna next to you.
Anna point. Anna point.
And a point is a good call because Anna's overextended there.
Anna point.
Good nano. Oh, unlucky. That can be avoided with ult tracking. When you can track their Rhine's ult, you'll know to play passive.
Hanzo and Widow are on high
You
ground.
realise? With the. Okay, never mind.
No, say.
Alright, so what I realised when I play Reinhardt, when a Reinhardt is close to ulting, they don't use Fire Strike as much because they've already got their ult charge. So that's how I track a Reinhardt shatter.
Okay.
Normally, or as soon as they use Fire Strike, they would normally shatter after I've played with them.
Okay.
That's what because they don't use Fire Strike as much, so they don't need to build ult as much. If they have ult, they're not going to use Fire Strike a lot.
I just want to add, like, in my opinion, when a Rhine is looking for a Fire Strike, he becomes, looking for a Shatter, he becomes very predictable. You can see him just holding shield, pushing towards you, just looking for an opening. Most of the time you can read that.
These methods here are good at this level. Upwards, like at Masters, that's not going to happen. Fire Strike doesn't mean anything at Masters. Like I Fire Strike when I have my Shatter all the time, except if I think the enemy Rhine has Shatter, because then that's really bad. I would usually you just need to look at and think about how much did the Rhine do last fight. Did he swing at a lot of people? Did he Fire Strike a lot of people in a row? If he did, he probably got a lot of ult charge. If he charged someone, that's a lot of ult charge. If he, you know, you can say probably the rule of thumb is after every second fight he'll have his Shatter. So that's probably how you do it the most effectively at this at any rank really, because otherwise little tricks like seeing whether or not they Fire Strike may not help, you know, further up the line. And Rhine positioning, like when they have their Shatter later on, fuck you, becomes kind of less, very, very unpredictable, and the only way you're going to know he is Shatter is if you've been tracking him. Yeah. Otherwise. Oh.
So and Widow are on high ground or opposite high ground.
So after you get shattered here, and their nano comes in, I would probably, as Plusy, I would probably be, like, regroup would be on the tip of my tongue. I'd be about to say regroup.
On high ground or
because we're already one down.
Okay. Focus fine, if that matters.
Second, that's two down.
Come back.
So, okay, done. You have to be, okay, out. Even with the Ana kill, I'd say out. Because it's really, really difficult to push the cart when it's here. Like, when it's so close to their spawn, it's difficult to push without your main heal. Practically impossible. So, I would definitely say regroup. Yeah, 5-6. Good.
Chris, you're alone?
Yeah, I tried to get out, but I don't think I can make it.
I can't help you, dude. I'm sorry.
Spoiler alert, Chris makes it out. Huge play. I would almost... Oh, yeah, Pussy?
Could I pause you for 2 seconds?
Yep.
The Ryan was nanoed. He shattered just before that.
Yeah.
You said to back off?
Yeah. When they get... I said I would be about to say back off. Because, we can go back a bit.
The fight is basically lost.
The fight...
Yeah, okay.
Ana point.
We try to go back off.
But what about the classic card fight by point?
Hanzo and Widow are on high ground.
Yeah, you can, but that's only if you're defending. Like if you're attacking, there's no value in dying on point because they're just contested. If you're defending, you lose a fight, then it's better to die on point because it stalls them out for as long as possible. But when you're attacking, you want to regroup fast so that you can get another attack in as fast as possible. Boom, boom, boom. Attack all the time. So I'd say the fastest way would be to jump off, you know, the pit that's down there. Jump down there. But yeah, I was saying you'd want to regroup here just because, like, if you're looking at this picture, you'll see a nanoed Ryan and everyone else is on the floor, and the only person who's not is Widow. It's like if the Ryan plays it right, he can get 2 here easily.
You said the key thing that when we're defending, we want to fully group up and get a new team fight to defend,
Yes.
which is the key thing.
Yeah.
I have grab next fight.
Pretty sure along.
Yeah, I tried to get out, but I don't think I can make it.
I can't help you, dude. I'm sorry. Keep fighting. Perfect. I'm gonna speed.
There's no shot.
We're gonna speed on the Ryan.
Good. Very good, Leroy. PogChamp, dude.
The Ryan.
Well,
And
You said he has no shatter. That's perfect. That's a basic form of ult tracking.
then Genji can go for the Widow. Okay?
Okay. Plasky makes a pretty good plan. I would say you'd almost not want to spend too much time on the like little things like Ryan can push the card, Zarya can push here, think of the thing. You just want to kind of concentrate on ultimate. So you could say we're close to shatter, close to grab. You can say okay, next fight grab, and that's enough.
I think this was the first map, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Oh, was it also on top?
First map. We played.
Admittedly, it was the
Nice.
best one we played.
Follow up.
Yeah. Call it.
Yeah.
Shatter.
It's my bad.
Or shatter main.
Grabbing this, grabbing 2.
right off the map.
See, Nerobos did it. Grabbing this, grabbing 2. Then he does it.
I needed healing, bro.
Good charge.
Sorry. Get
Good
right
anti on the grab as well. Anna. Yeah, good. Okay. The beat there was fine, but at higher levels they will swap to Hammond. They'll swap to other things that employ different tactics to get
Just wait on the fence, by the way. It's gonna be fun.
Okay.
Totally
But,
fucked up.
But I would say, like even there, even though it's the very last second before death, and you probably won't need the beat, just hold it. Just be so paranoid with that beat, because if a Hammond immediately rolls in, then all of a sudden you haven't gotten a couple of kills, and now there's 3 of them on point, and there's 4 of them on point, and you've used your beat that you could have used like to save this fight, and then they suddenly clutch it back and you've lost it. That would be heartbreaking. So I would say just save the beat there. And then once this sign comes up, this round 1 complete, then you can just shift your ultimate.
Bless you.
Okay. We'll skip ahead.
I'm chasing those mercy stats, you know.
Right side
Yeah.
hotel.
No, but you're right.
Fall down, you can
In
No,
teams
no, no.
like this, don't
Roger.
waste like I did.
Okay, I'm trying to bait them into the...
It was only the small thing, but like we've had situations where they've come back just because I wasted a shatter and just decided, okay, game's over, boom, and then like, no, it's not. They come back and then they win it. So frustrating. So I'll never do it again, because I remember the one time I did it and it was a fucking throw. So never again.
I play like you.
Okay, I'm trying to bait them,
Yeah.
them into the
Okay.
hotel.
Looking at your,
Confident sometimes.
yeah, looking at your comp here. Good. It's a very classic, strong healer comp for your death ball. So these work very well. Those are pretty much the core of death ball here. Your Widow's perfect pick on this point as well, and your Junkrat's great. So it basically means your Junkrat will give you full control of Hotel. If they push Hotel, your Junkrat's just going to spam them down. Your Widow gives you, let me just bring up a picture here actually. Your Widow can stand pretty much where she likes. Let's say she's standing up in the, the window up at the top of the point there?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like up there. Say she's standing there, she has sight lines of all here, right Chris?
Yep.
So that gives you sight line there. Oh, hang on 1 second. My headphones plugged out.
Yep.
Back into headphones. Okay, back.
Yeah.
So that's what your DPS will probably be doing. Your tanks can hold here. So I'm just saying all this because, and your healers can probably like be back here if they wanted to be. back at the arch back there. Saying that because that's what your comp is strong at, right? If your comp is strong at playing together, your Junkrat will cut all this off, and your Widow, you're basically as tanks, say as Leroy, right? You're gonna want to hold your shield and wait essentially for your Junkrat to make someone low, and then you can swing at them, or wait for your Widow to make someone low, and then you can swing at them. You don't want to like go in and start fighting everyone, because it's not your job in this comp. Your job is to basically just be the front line, don't let anyone past you, and just kind of hold the point. You're the rock. Everyone else will kind of work around you. By the way, are you guys do you guys ever play goats at all, or are you viciously anti-goats?
Really.
We're trying to avoid it. We're trying to avoid it.
Okay. Fair.
What did you have in mind?
No, it's just like goats on this map, like is.
Yeah, it's good.
This is goats row. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Up to you guys. Whatever comes you want to play, all can work. Like goats right now is super strong. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I was saying, play to your strengths. Like say for example, Vibes wouldn't want to, run up here, and he would play by the bus and then start shooting everyone here. Like that would be a stupid throw, right? But you want to play to your strengths. Play around this area. This is yours.
Roger. I'm playing Hotel them.
Yeah, Widow. Yeah, Widow, yeah. Hanzo as well. I'm playing behind shield.
Reinhardt's Junkrat.
I'm playing behind shield.
Okay. So when you guys, by the way, pause. When you call out their comps and you say Widow, Hanzo, that's their 2 DPS, and now you can think, okay, just think about it in a really quick. What's their comp's goal? Like what's their aim? Their comp here is wait until their snipers can get a pick. Wait until the snipers bring someone low, and then the tanks will finish it up. That's their goal. So now you guys know that's what they're going to try and do. So for us, we just want to like play around the hotel, play inside, play around cover. Don't get picked, because that's what they want to happen. Don't give them anything. Don't give them picks. Don't give them damage. Just chill.
Yeah, she stops his hiding.
I'm also a shield. I'm half.
Your Junkrat means that you will win the tank war. So if it was like your Ryan, your Zarya, and your Junkrat versus their Ryan, their Zarya, and your Hanzo, you win, because your Junkrat will just burn it. Their Hanzo can't do as much damage up close as a Junkrat can.
Fall back.
Nice, Chris.
No shield.
If you wanted to here, what I would say is, I would probably push now, because that's their main healer right now, completely gone. So their only heal is coming from Lucio, and that's not sustainable at all. So I'd probably speed boost up. Yeah, speed up. But unfortunately, Ryan gets left behind. So now you're splitting like you were before. Remember, Deathball has to stay together.
Hanzo. Yeah, what's on the barrier?
Nice.
2 picks. Keep going.
Widow's still balcony. Widow's still balcony.
Anywhere past this line here is danger. Okay. I would probably have pushed, on the right, I'd probably have pushed this Zarya, because she's completely isolated, but the calls are a bit split up. If you didn't get her by now, she's not gettable. She's back at this point.
We're going back.
Widow might still be balcony.
Yeah.
I killed the Widow. You're gonna be
That's lucky.
respawning up top.
I think you get lucky again here.
Nice.
Getting you back to Derry.
No, I'm dead.
Everyone back up.
No, you're not. You get lucky again.
Everyone fall back.
So lucky.
Fall back.
I know the range when he grabs you, but
I know you're stuck, we can't help you.
I follow for you.
Because I've been so many times.
Rush around you.
Well done.
But to just jump away and then you book
I don't run away.
Good tire there, Vibes.
No.
Because they're pushing in now. A tire now would really good. I think you call it as well.
Rush around you.
Speeding out.
Pretty sure you do.
Widow, you're stuck, we can't help you.
I can remember that.
Damn, me and...
Oh yeah, once again, you could waste some time here with comms instead of ult tracking. Okay, so you don't call it, so it would be probably very good to say, I'm close to tire, I'm going to use it when they push in, so that, say for example, if Leroy had his shatter, he wouldn't think, oh now I need to shatter because I need to make a play here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Push now. Good. Oh.
I don't know why.
But yeah, you know, Davis.
Yeah.
Making the best
Feeding
of
in,
it there.
feeding in.
Get him.
Yeah, die here. I can't find it.
We are 3 up.
Oh, we did?
No ults.
Middle.
Never mind. Back.
And everyone's speeding it back.
I got someone. Let's keep that.
I'm dead.
Oh, unfortunate.
Okay,
You have to go back. Okay, this is one of the examples of the time when saying something to Nereboss like, "We're not with you." Like now. Whoa, Nereboss, go back. That kind of a thing, right? No one's with you. Because now Nereboss thinks that he's backed up,
Okay, keep.
but he's completely
keep
alone
moving
there.
back.
He luckily does get back. He could've
Is
died.
that a call for the shot caller?
That's a call for literally anyone. Like if Leroy saw it, we would just be like back. Anyone who thinks that Nereboss is literally out on his own and knows he thinks that someone's behind him, but there's actually no one, we can tell him, you need to come back.
I actually don't say it because he tends to build judge a lot.
Yeah.
That's more the thing I didn't say. He comes back though. I know. I'm just waiting on him, and he comes back. I know he has bubble for himself.
But they have a Lucio, so he was actually too late if that team was better.
Yeah.
Good shot, Leroy. I would have called it before you did, though. You have to say, I'm going to shatter this fight. So that, because if Nereboss had his grab, he may have wanted to use grab that fight, and you could have overlapped, which is wasting.
Okay. Jumping healer, Ryan.
Nice, good follow up there.
I'm gonna let Nana
Definitely
lead you up.
speed. Every time Leroy gets a shadow like that, speed. 100%, I'm speed.
Lead you up.
I'm almost back. 2 seconds from X-ray. They will probably have it.
Well done.
Now it's at 39%.
I've almost got ult back already.
So if you ult track here, you can see their plan. So if once you know they have grab dragon, you know the plan for you guys is to split up, prevent them getting the maximum value.
Save ult for grab.
I am.
Save it for grab. Save it for grab. Save it for grab.
Playing by shield again.
They have no barrier.
I was just looking to peek right at top.
I've got ult.
They've got
Yeah,
upgrade.
well,
Blind shield.
You got counter balls for it?
Oh, Leroy, oh yeah. At this stage here, when they're not pushing,
I was just looking
you
to
don't
peek
want
right
to
at top.
hold your shield. Like you're not taking any.
I've got ult.
Yeah, because this is all time you could have recharged, but
Yeah, that's more of hunting.
then you should tell your teammates play behind hotel. I'm putting my shield down now. Yeah.
That's too late. That was my intention.
You got counter balls for it?
No, I used it earlier.
Speeding.
Okay. Nice, good beat. And we also use tire.
Yeah, I got confused. I thought I was.
The tire is good there. Tire was a good play there, but I would have said it. I'm gonna tire next fight or something.
Oh, grab. Sorry, I fucked up. Oh.
Okay. So we don't have a lot of calls here.
Sorry, I fucked up.
Like this guy's here, completely isolated, alone. You probably say Ryan Hotel, and then everyone turns around and looks at the Ryan. Okay. Also, although I like as shot caller, it's impossible to see everything, or not shot caller, target caller. It's possible to see every little slip in the enemy team. Possible to see that, like Leroy's over here, something on point. So it's very
Like me.
difficult things as being a target caller. One of the most difficult things of being a target caller is just knowing everything, being able to hear stuff. So for stuff like this, it's very, very helpful for Leroy if you say that. Say Chris as the critical target caller. If Chris sees that, Leroy will hear that and change calls to match yours, okay? That's the plan. Yeah. So once Vibe says that, they all turn. It could have been a bit earlier when he was going through hotel. You could have said, run alone right side, and then Leroy hears that and goes, that's better than whatever I was saying. I was saying Zarya point, but I know she still has her bubble. Ryan's alone right side, so we go on him. That's the kind of split-second decision thing.
I'm dead for the moment, I'm coming back.
You're equal, no support. Me and Anna coming now.
That's a good call. Very good call, Plusky, with the equal no support. Because that gives information to everyone playing about how they should play. They know they can't push now. They know that if they just hold their ground right now, because we're equal, it's safe. They're not gonna lose anything.
Play safe, play safe, play safe.
Yeah, to follow up what you said, I just said that we're down 2, but I didn't say we're down the support. That is something I didn't say, which was bad from my side. I did.
Yeah.
I think I just said down 2.
No, he did say support, no healing.
You said down 2, no support.
No, when the support died and the Ryan was in the corner.
That's also something you'd want to try to do. Yeah, like if you just notice that like both people in the same role got killed, you would want to say no tanks, no DPS, and usually as a rule of thumb is if one of the sections gets cut off, like if you have no healing, that's a regroup. If there's no tanks, regroup. If there's no DPS, regroup.
Okay. They're on Monkey Diva and Genji.
Okay, Anna, take high ground.
Okay.
Yeah,
They're on
gotcha.
full dive now. Full dive.
Full dive. Okay. That's a good call, saying full dive. When you're playing a death ball against dive, okay? It drastically changes how you play. Death ball should be played tight, but if you're playing against another death ball, you can play tight-ish. You can play not like directly behind each other like you see here, but you can play like probably one person here, like close enough to each other. But against a dive, you need to be right beside each other. Ryan needs to be beside his healers. Zarya needs to be beside the healers, and no one can flank, because if they flank, you will get no peel, and they will kill you all. They have so much more mobility than you do, right?
Alright.
So this is really good here with the grouping up. I would almost want Anna to be like here, or as back as you could be, Devious, because that means they're gonna have to dive in deep to get you, and all of your teammates here can run back to help you. But I don't know where you are right now.
High ground.
I think I was going on high ground.
You went high ground.
Yeah, you see me there
Okay.
on the right side next to Widow.
Okay. One thing about this high ground here is against the dive comp, you get no peeling from anyone in the low ground. And usually what happens is when they dive that, it's easy for them to dive that. It jumps over your entire team down here. And what happens is when they dive that, you'll probably drop down, and then they just drop down too, and you're dead. So they can instantly chase.
What about the window that we can see on the left side? Isn't that better positioning for Anna in general?
Oh, here?
That one on the one to the right.
The one that's currently circled, I was heading towards that one.
Okay. That's a good positioning, I would say. This one is probably good as well.
The downside, what I see with that window position is, if your team gets pushed back to Arch, you will be forced to make a big rotation to heal them.
Yeah, like this window.
Yeah, if you're heading over there and your team falls back to Arch, you will have to go to the middle window and drop down to get to heal them.
I think you can heal them from that window here. You still see them.
Yeah, but if your team falls back, their dive team will also be able to walk forward and jump that window.
Yeah. True. I would probably against dive, or when you hear that full dive combo, I would probably move back there immediately. Just because this spot here is so deep in the backline that like imagine playing Winston or imagine playing Genji and trying to jump in there, knowing that when you do, this entire death ball is going to turn around and speed right on you. Like you're not going to kill anything, and even if you do get their Ana, they'll kill you. So it's far more better than saying, oh, there's an Ana up here on her own, and he won't get peeled. So I'm going to die for it.
Follow-up question: does this vary between the maps? Because in this particular situation, this is so good in this corner. I agree on that, but say other maps, isn't it better to still be on high ground for?
Yeah,
not really against dive.
It depends on your tanks. Really, tanks are your main source of peeling.
Yeah, like Tomak said, even if he's on high ground, they can just jump on top of him, and yeah, he can drop down, but they can just drop down with him.
They can constantly shoot at you.
Whereas if you're on low ground further behind your team can speed towards you and help you if they need to.
Yeah, but Plosky, to answer your question, it depends really.
And another
on the map and your tanks.
Yeah, that's about. I think really against dive, especially when you're playing Deadpool, I think low ground will still be better on most maps, because even if you're on high ground on a map where high ground is per se better, if dive dives on top of you on high ground, and even if you drop down, that dive comp is now on that high ground, and you cannot reach them as a Deadpool. But if your Ana is in the backline on low ground and they dive your Ana, even if the Ana dies, they're on low ground without their cooldowns.
Yeah.
So, but if you're on high ground and they jump on top of you, and even if you survive, even if you die, they're still on high ground. They can wait for their cooldowns to come back, and you're on low ground playing Deadpool without a main healer.
It's pretty rough. Yeah, definitely as Deathball versus Dive, you play together, you play tight. They have to come to you. They have to get inside your Deathball. It's gonna be very tough for them to do that if you play really tight together.
On point. They need to get on point.
DVS, go fall back, go to a different
back.
Yeah.
Okay.
They will go back. They need to.
Now that call has been made, by the way, that Devious is rotating. Devious is now rotating, so he can't see anyone on point, which means you essentially have no main heal for temporary time. Okay, which means you couldn't aggress now. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't push because you die, and it means that you have to play quite defensively. If they jump you now, they'll win. So you need to kind of hope they don't jump you, and you need to play defensively.
Genji in the back.
Okay. Hopefully, I would have. But the Genji in the back, that would have maybe been enough for you guys to turn around and see this whole army essentially coming out of hotel. If not, try and see that they went into hotel. I think Leroy was in a position to see that, and if he did see it, say it, because that's immediately the biggest threat. They're coming through hotel, like all of them, and they still have momentum. They still have movement abilities, which means they can get up here now. They can dive that high ground, which I think is what they want to do. They can jump that window, although I don't think they would want to do that. And they can jump point as well.
Chase in the back.
Monkey's half.
So there's guaranteed see them now, but still no one has said like essentially full dive comp on the right, going for us.
Back.
Genji entered, yeah.
And alone near statue.
Okay, so they've now taken essentially control of all high ground. In places, when you're in a situation like this and you're playing Deathball, it doesn't really matter, because they have to come to you. They can dance around all they like, they can jump around, but if you now, Anna probably would want to drop the point here, plus you would want to go to point. If everybody grouped up on point on your team, and you were 6-man Deathball, they're not getting into you. They're just gonna watch you essentially. Oh, huge!
Genji dead. I'm a god.
Anna, come down.
That look at that. That's a Reddit Lucio in your entire Deathball. So I would 100% call that. Tracer as a target call is probably one of the last characters you want to focus, because she's so fast and she's so mobile. It's pretty much impossible to get her.
Tracer one. Monkey on me.
Nice.
Monkey.
Yeah. Monkey. Can't get him. He's on high ground, so you guys as a Deathball won't be able to focus him. Just play chill. Nice.
I'm gonna stagger him with a
I played that so well with that monkey, by the way. But this is where I make a mistake. This is where I die in a bit.
It's a good tire from vibes. Staggering them, like with this amount of time left, all time for them is precious, and if there's a tire coming, it's over. One pick is huge.
Oh, my old one.
I think you're calm lags here.
Everyone's lagging.
Yeah.
Comms lagging.
There's a lot of comms lagging, by the way.
Yeah, it's a tiny...
Discord.
For some reason, Vibes never lags though whenever he's in Discord.
Because I have got the internet.
It doesn't matter, it was a Discord server that was down at that point, dude.
Discord loves me, what can I say?
This is a tiny niche, by the way. When you get something like that, when your comms lag, try not to spam it with comms lag, because it might just be lagging for you. And if everyone else is still fine, if there's 5 players who can still hear each other, but then they can hear you going like, that'll flood comms. Just be quiet, just say, comms lagging, can't hear anything. That's it. You guys cleaned this fight up very nicely though. They were rushed, because of the tire. All in all, it was a victory, good map. But I would say that the comms can be a lot cleaner. You can get ultimate tracking in there. Ultimate tracking comes with practice 100%. So it doesn't matter if you're kind of off here and there when you guys are playing. Definitely over time they'll come. A rule of thumb is you have essentially accurate or good enough ult tracking if you're within 30% up or down of their ultimate. So if their Hanzo was on 59% and I said Hanzo has dragon, that's not an accurate ult call. But if he was at like 79% and I'd say he has dragon, then yeah, that's correct. He does have dragon.
What we did in our old team was we assigned one of the supports to remind us of the old tracking, and after every fight you would just be like, hey, what ults did they use?
Yeah.
And we'd just go through all of them, what did they use, what do they have coming up, and stuff. And that worked really well.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone can ask that question. Once a fight is over, anyone can just say, what did they use? Then the discussion essentially gets going. But the thing is, I noticed in one of your guys' VODs before, you did ask that question before, but it took you guys were literally discussing it until the next fight began. Like, you were still discussing it when you were fighting them. But it's like, no. This needs to be done in 5 seconds flat. It needs to be like, they use Valk, this, I think they have Hanzo, I think they have Grav, I think they have Shatter. And then someone go, no, they use Shatter. You go, oh, okay. Then they have Grav and Hanzo. And then it goes, okay, that's it, done. Even if it's wrong, as long as you're not wasting comm time or planning time on a discussion. That's why you have actual target callers. That's why you have in-game leaders, so that it's not a discussion and then eventually nothing gets done. When the leader says something, that's it. Leader said it. We're going with that. I don't know if we want to do the next map because we've done this is quite a long review actually. It's like an hour and 45 at this stage.
I was just about to ask you, we have, according to schedule, 50 minutes left. You're about to scrim at 8 p.m. if I'm not mistaken.
Oh shit, I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
So.
Wait, is today Sunday?
Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
My fucking point.
I actually don't think we have scrim today because we had a OD. Yeah. I'm pretty sure on OD games, on OD days, we just take it easy. But I'll post the VOD for you guys of one of our matches.
I wouldn't mind having another map though, because this was
The map. Yeah. Well, what I'd say is probably what could work is we could take a break, maybe.
Yeah, I would rather ask everyone here that, in general, this was a lot of information.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
And if there isn't any specific things on the second map that you really want to point out, we could maybe take some kind of break or just call it for today and take it in, maybe do something else.
Let me just read the notes I got for that map. I think the majority of it seemingly is just me saying that you guys need to ult track. Yeah, and then there's some specific actual. Yeah, so the majority of it was just basically saying comms. You need to ult track and you need a plan for the next fight. And then there were some other bits of stuff like Hammond pushed in on his own, and then Winston pushed in on his own, and then the fight was lost. Stuff, just kind of specific stuff. But other than that, I'd say we can call it here because the other map was pretty much just this. But you guys were playing dive. So for this anyway, we're focused on Deathball. With Deathball, you guys want to play close, play together, and that's pretty much how you play that comp. So you guys really don't want to split. And then for your ultimate, you want to get the ultimate tracking going. You want to get your own ultimate tracking going, or ultimate like a organization. And then what else? Oh, you want to get like kind of target calls a bit cleaner. And then I think I can't remember what else I said. Some other stuff. But I think Plosky has it written down anyway, right?
Everything that is general for us, everyone, yeah. I have it all written down, and I believe Chris is still recording the VOD right now.
I think so. Yeah.
I take your silence as a yes, so we still have it as a backup. But anyway, I will later just write it in better English and put it on Discord.
Okay, perfect. All right, yeah, I think we'll leave it here then.
All right.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
It was amazing listening to you, and good job. And for some reason, I like that everyone started to talk less and you started to talk more, because for some reason it worked. You didn't lag.
Oh yeah, I did
less. You lagged less, and I was like, just let him talk. Let him talk.
Cool. All right.
Good.
That was good.
All right.
Yep. So hopefully you guys can focus in on get the ultimate tracking going and play Deathball a bit tighter and in your next scrim, and that should be really good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Right.
So are we just taking a break, or is it that?
We call it
that's
here.
it.
We call it.
What I would like to say to everyone here who's still left, besides Tama, is that we should start to not abuse, but really use the overstudent and actually ask for VOD reviewing specifically, like from our scrims. But
You mean individually?
Individually, yes.
Yeah, because I'm Team VOD, I pretty much trust that Tomahawk can handle that. And we're also having one planned for the Team VODs. Our first scrim session will be reviewed by Argel and the boys.
That is correct.
When will that review be?
They were talking about next week or somewhere. They're planning today for that VOD review.
Oh, they're planning it. Okay.
And they're not planning doing it, but they're planning for it today.
Fine. Okay.
Okay, because I can't be there on Monday and Tuesday.
Now they most likely will make, and Argel will most likely take contact with one of us asking when we're available.
Okay.
But until then, yeah. For instance, like so most of us already try to get VOD reviews, like me and Bosky, and we already sent some VOD reviews into Overstudent, but some of us don't.
I don't do it anymore, but I will start to pick it up again, because like for instance, Anna being on high ground, like when I talked to Scooty, he was like, depending on the enemy team, in comp though, not in scrim, in comp, it was like, stay on high ground so they have to use abilities to reach you.
Well, you can also stay on low ground and make them force abilities to reach you. You can still stay far enough back that their walk will not be enough.
It's not about the high ground, it's about forcing the abilities.
Yeah, you're getting the wrong point of it.
No, more as many people said different things.
No, I think what Scritty means is the ideal against dive is you want them to force their cooldowns to jump in and still survive it. So you want to have an escape route, and normally when you're solo queue, jumping down from high ground to low ground, people won't have the coordination to really do things that well. But like if you're getting dived on high ground and you have to walk towards your dive comp team or your deadball team, you're dead as Anna, even in solo queue.
That is if the comp is actually running a deathball.
Yeah, true. True. If your team is dive as well, it doesn't matter. You can stay on high ground.
But I think that is the situation what happened when I got involved from Scooter, that it was just a random team setup, and I got that tip in that specific team setup. And if we start to use our individual scrim point of view, we can actually get a good feedback on where we should be set up for each individual. But yeah.
I just saw something. I was watching Nico's stream. I just clipped it there. It just happened. I thought it was pretty funny that we just did a VOD review on communication, and then in his comp game, you'll see in that clip they grab their team, and then Nico uses Dragon, but their Doomfist also ults the grab.
Yeah.
So they essentially use they use Dragon and Doom for no reason. They could have used only one because they didn't plan the fight before. So if you plan the fight before, that shit doesn't happen, and you get to keep your one of those ults. Just an example. Anyway, I'm gonna head off, I think, and get some dinner.
Do so. Thank you so much for your time.
Bye, dude.
Yes.
Everyone else, what's your plan for now? Food, play, or what's up?
I've already eaten. I'm gonna just practice some support on my ult.
Bathroom, and then I'm gonna play.
Okay.
Are you going to stream?
Okay, I will be an obvious student later. First food, but then text and all that stuff that needs to be done.
I need to wake up.
You need to wake up, yeah. Thank you also for joining Vibes. Everything we have to say is an input to all of us.
Yes.
Great.
I've already saved my notes, so.
And also Jesse for popping in.
Boku wants to say thanks.
Yeah.
You're really quiet.
It is. You are indeed. We have a new mic.
Yeah, my mic was away from my face. I always forget that with this new headset.
Alright, let's call it here. Thank you.
Meet everyone in Overstudent.
Yeah, see you in Overstudent.
See you in a bit.
Later.
Bye bye.
Alright. Wacht, wat?
Wacht, wat?
Ah, Bram zit in Sixpack Attack.
Wat?
Ja, die was al eerder toegevoegd.
Ah. Ja, ik heb Machine ook een invite gestuurd. Misschien vindt Machine wel eens een keertje leuk om mee te kijken ofzo.
Nou, weet ik niet.
Laat ik gewoon lekker subben. Machine die...
Hey,
long time no see.
Hey, long time no see, dude.
Yikes, dude. I wanted them to do Oasis.
Hello. Oasis.
I wanted them to do it. Well, no, it wasn't Oasis. What was it?
What was Oasis?
Oh, it was Oasis. Yeah, I wanted them to do that one. Because I know he's gonna say, yeah, you're flooding comms. I'm like, yeah, no, I am.
I'm gonna go play Coop I think. On ult. Gotta pee first.
I don't get it. Why? How do I gain followers when I'm offline? Do you think people watch like your VODs back? Do they get advertised, Chris?
What?
Wait, what?
What was the question?
You know when you... Like, I get quite a lot of